What we've seen with this show is it's doubled each of the last 3 years. You got flock
That
and
is cool.
your block silicone, essentially. These are things that you can't digitally print. How many print heads are on this thing? 15 print heads. How many different types of colors?
CMYK white, so you're looking at the widest range, especially with in-edits, color profiles.
One of the coolest, newest things, I mean, they just started selling it pretty much at the show, direct to embroidery. Hey guys, we're here at the Printing United Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada with the one and only Brandon Mills. How's it going, Brandon?
How's it going, man?
Great. So Brandon's actually here local in Vegas. You kind of spoiled with this show being here every other year. What we've seen with this show is it's doubled each of the last 3 years. I mean, last year was in Atlanta. There's no way it was half this size for apparel. It is traditionally the SGIA so it's very much so geared around signage, and now we're much so in the apparel world.
Yeah, and I actually went to the Atlanta show even though they come here, but I was in the market for a printer, so it was worth it for me to fly across the country to find that. And even from last year, the show this year is much more apparel focused than ever before.
Absolutely, and again, you learn so much these shows. You make informed decisions. You just got to be careful with those reps tell you sometimes, because everybody's going to tell you mine's the best, mine's the best.
Oh yeah.
So being able to get that outside opinion, get the knowledge, and then I know you're part of the Shirt Lab group.
Yeah.
We collaborate, we help each other, so that's also another great way. So over here we have the ROQ. We actually visited them yesterday, made a video. This is some cool stuff, Brandon.
This is cool. I came over here earlier.
Spinning around, 4 heat presses, robotic arm to grab the transfer, drop it on the shirt. This could be their hybrid screen printed, digitally printed transfer. It could be the DTF. And then they have an automatic peeler.
So I was talking to one of the techs on this earlier today, and they were saying that they've got 2 presses here, so they can do 5 seconds on each, so that they could double the output on what they're doing. So going from 300 shirts per hour to 600 shirts per hour.
They're saying with 2 operators, 600 shirts is 100% doable. 1 loading, 1 takeoff. Hey, Fern,
this machine's ridiculous
make
too.
A video.
Oh, you're busy.
The one and only Fern Padilla, GarmentPrinter.com. Even if you're not exhibiting, you still show up at the show. So again, this is exploded. You've got all your big players. You got ROQ, you got Hirsch, you got Brother, you have Epson, you have GSG, M&R.
Have you been over to Central Hall yet?
I have, and I feel like an idiot over there, Brandon, compared to over here. I'm like,
yeah, that's another level.
Yeah. Again, I mentioned in the video, but my father-in-law is an offset printer.
Yeah.
And that is his world and so forth. So with Brother, I mean, one of the cooler things that I see over here, one, if you guys have never seen it, the GTX 600, having these additional green and orange. Think about CMYK. Yeah, you get a lot of colors. You start dropping those extra colors in there, though, Brandon, you open up that color gamut.
You expand your gamut beyond just CMYK, which is great, but realistically, 99% of the time, most jobs are going to be within that CMYK range.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but there are certain customers that are going to require that having those colors.
One of the coolest, newest things. I mean, they just started selling it pretty much at the show, direct to embroidery.
So this is, yes.
Have you not seen it?
Not in person yet.
So check it out. Just a white logo, or just using white thread, essentially. And it's kind of hard to see because this is the embroidery, and then this is going beyond it.
Oh, up here, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's wild. But then they also printed.
Yeah, beyond it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
that's
is
a
really cool.
That's a cool effect.
So if you think about it, it's similar to the color reel, which would have been mounting something above the machine and dyeing the thread right before it's being sewn. In this case, you're just embroidering white thread, and then you're putting on the GTX Brother printer. It's a Brother, product with this camera mount, and it will register the product that you're actually going to be printing and drop that artwork right on there perfectly. I mean, it's incredible.
I wonder if how deep it goes into the threads, because is it just going to be on the surface? What happens over time? You know, if those threads start to turn on you, you know, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the one thing is, we're talking about a Brother product.
Yeah.
And Brother's been an innovator, a leader in garment printing for decades. Well, not decades. Well, yeah. I mean, literally, we're one of the first DTG. I bought my Brother GTX printer. Still have it.
Yeah.
Still runs. Bought it 15 years ago. So, you know, Brother doesn't make junk.
Oh, here's their here's the Brother,
DTF.
the roll-to-roll, which is, I guess, from my understanding, is it's a converted DTG that they stuck a roll on.
They did. It's not my favorite product of theirs. I prefer personally a 24-inch wide DTF printer. You have a 24-inch.
Yeah.
That's just what I prefer.
But I like to see that they're getting into the game and innovating, and it'll be. They're not far from having, you know, one of those as being a competitor in that space.
Well, and then like this digital inline DTG is just
insane,
crazy cool the way this works.
Looks like this is the competitor for the Now from ROQ, which we just walked past.
Absolutely. So, and then the Polaris from M&R.
Yep.
They're all big money.
Yeah, they are.
You know, some of these shops they got a fleet of them, and it's like.
And if you're able to automate your shop to where your sales are coming in and your production flow is to where the point to where you can just load it up, I mean, automation is king in that space.
It's not even just our industry; it's any industry.
Sure.
But in our industry, I don't care what decoration process it is. Labor is getting harder and harder to get. Ever since COVID, I mean, it's screwed everything up.
Yeah.
And it's just making it a challenge.
Prior to DTF, I was looking at Sizer here about
Caesar.
I get known
at it word all the time.
Caesar.
Yeah, and if you look at the cool stuff here, you got flock and your block silicone essentially. These are things that you can't digitally print. I mean, I know you're big into DTF and you know you have an embroidery. But you can't do that with either one of them. The look, the feel, really cool technology. Caesar's been a leader in HDD.
I feel like it's hard to do these at scale, though, especially because you have to weed everything out.
But, you know, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate there because, again, we just saw Fern Padilla at GarmentPrinter.com in LA. You all of a sudden take a T-shirt and you can make it a $100 shirt because you've made something very fashion forward, very different than anything else you actually see. So. There's a market. I mean, every decoration process has a time and place.
Sure.
You just have to find the right market for it, the right marketing behind it. Nothing is dead. Hey, look over here, Brandon. They're cutting the cut and sew.
I never want to do this.
No, you don't.
I never ever want to do the cut and sew.
You want to have a team of seamstress? We were just in a shop that had 20 seamstress sewing jerseys.
Are these are the ones with the lasers cutting it out?
Yeah. So the registration, there's no hand. What they were doing in the shop that we just toured, they were doing reversible jerseys. So imagine doing this and then putting it back in the calendar press to then press the nuts. No, awesome.
I mean, that'd be good for flags and things as well. I would imagine if you're able to do both sides.
Anything 100% polyester. That's how flags are made. It is a sublimated product. I mean,
so is it reversible on one piece of fabric, or are they putting two pieces of fabric together?
One piece of fabric.
Really?
It's the lightest. Yeah. That's why all your jerseys these days are primarily sublimation. Now, you know, the NFL's not wearing a sublimated jersey, but I mean, almost all your kids' sports teams are now.
The M&R Quattro, which, as far as I know, it's just a Chinese printer that they made blue, but that's kind of how they all are. So.
They are.
But I think they are putting some innovation into it.
They're putting some safety stuff definitely into it. It's called the Quattro because it's the fourth type of printer that M&R has come out with.
Oh.
So you have the screen printer, obviously. Then they went DTG.
Yeah.
And then they went digital squeegee. And now this is DTF. So that's why it's called the Quattro, if you didn't know.
No, I didn't. I thought it had 4 print heads.
Yeah.
But it's all the same technology for now.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. DTF, man, I know you're very much so into the decoration process. It's been the biggest disruptor by a mile in our industry. It's affected everything, whether it be DTG, screen, embroidery, HTV. All of them have been affected by DTF.
What do we got here?
This is AWT. They make just an ink mixing.
Yep.
You don't see that at every show. When you go to the bigger shows, you see things that you don't see at all.
One of the things in DTF it is the white and the use of pigment. And I know DuPont is, all of them are going to have pigment that settles. And, they all recommend that you shake and do all these things to keep that suspended.
Don't shake, slowly stir.
Right, well, that's what just seeing that bucket right there, makes you wonder.
No. I've got one of ink mixing tool.
Really?
It's called the ink mixer. Slowly rotates it.
Just
By the
rotate
way,
the bottle?
Harbor Freight. Go into Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
They got a little thing you can put the bottle on because you don't want to shake it. When you shake it, you're introducing air into it, and that's not what you want going into the lines.
Right. Well, I know Mamaki, they do a lot to degas their inks.
And they're using a cartridge, which has pros and cons. It's going to be more expensive, but you're not going to run into some of those issues versus when you're using DuPont. And right here, we're at the new coat, essentially CobraFlex, and they are primarily, I think, the DuPont ink guys.
Right.
And DuPont guys, they're one of the oldest, largest manufacturers of chemicals in the world, not even just
We've had no issue with any air in our inks. But you've got it going through all the hoses coming out, going through a damper, and then by the time it gets to the print head, there's really no air in the lines at all.
Well, and what I use, I get my ink from DTF Experts, and my ink comes in a clear bottle. Yeah. So if there's any settlement on the bottom, I can actually clearly see it. If I want to take a light to it or anything.
Right.
And they claim that it is a it doesn't have glycol in it.
How's it going, man?
Pretty much always have.
Dang.
Yeah.
YouTube blowing up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it looks like you guys are content creating each other now.
Yeah.
You tell us anything about the Venom?
Venom?
So this is the guys. How many print heads are on this thing? 15 print heads. How many different types of colors?
CMYK, white, so you're looking at the widest range, especially with in-edits, color profiles.
So, again, get 15 colors. We have
15
CMYK.
colors. Yep.
What else?
We're running 2,800 square feet an hour, up to.
That's incredible.
Blasting them out, so high volume print shops. This is the bad boy. This is the machine you're going to want.
And it's manufactured in Arizona, correct?
Tempe, Arizona. We're out at Tempe, Arizona, correct.
I visited their shop, actually, not too long ago.
And you just bought CobraFlex UV DTF printer,
I did,
right?
yeah. So, that's my second CobraFlex piece of equipment. The first one being the 4-head printer that we have.
So we have the Venom here, which is a monster. Yep. There's Chris and Jim. They are the brains behind everything. We got to stop by and make another video with him. Yeah. And then we have the King Cobra, which I think is also fairly new, right, Chris?
Yep, King Cobra's new.
Yeah, another big boy.
What, five print head?
5 heads.
Yep. 5, yeah.
It also comes in a 6-head.
Okay.
So color expanders.
Very cool. And then over here we have the Stealth, which I think is the coolest printer if you are, going to want to put it in a warehouse, which
I'm pretty sure it's
almost
bulletproof
impossible.
too.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
This thing has a humidifier, dehumidifier, it has an AC built. This thing is crazy. If you want to print in the middle of the desert out here, you can do it with this thing.
Oh, look at the color range on there. I love it.
Yeah, what do we have in this thing, Chris?
What's that?
What colors do we have? It hits some of those. How are you hitting a hot pink like that?
So we got color expanders in here. We got fluorescent yellow, fluorescent magenta, and a green and a red expander color.
Are those all DuPont?
DuPont colors, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. And this is Brady. He's from Newcoat. He's one of our dealers.
So Brady? Yeah. So, wow, guys, getting those fluorescents in there, you really start opening up that color gamut.
You do.
Yeah, it takes it to from 300 to about 600,000.
300 to 600,000 colors.
Jeez.
Jeez. Again, this thing is a tank.
In edit will automatically.
Right here.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah. All the best people are coming together.
Yeah, what is in edit?
Yeah.
Well, we develop software and we do color management for these guys. So we try to get the best color that we can. And we try to, the color that you see on screen, so the color is that you get when you print.
So yeah, color profiling. We can just keep throwing ink heads in there. We can keep throwing colors and fluorescence and so forth. But if you don't dial in the color profile and have the RIP software properly set up with it, it's not going to really do you any good.
Exactly.
So if I throw an RGB file in there, it's automatic. I don't have to do anything else. It's going to automatically rip.
Correct.
To the.
And also the best thing about the United software is that you can just put them in all the Adobe files.
Yeah.
So you don't have to export like PNGs or anything else. You just put your Photoshop file, and it just prints it.
This thing is really cool. I've been a big fan of the Stealth since one of the last shows we went to. Again,
I'm mic'd up.
It eliminates a lot of the variables, and guys, they're making these in Phoenix, Arizona, and if you can, humidity is an issue there. I mean, you can print with this thing anywhere. What's this go for nowadays, Chris?
Well, at the show,
Brady's side.
yeah, at the show here, it's going for just under $44,000 with our show discount going on through the next couple weeks. Retail, it's going to be around the $47,000, $48,000 marker.
Wow. And again, look at those colors. I mean, you're not going to hit that with CMYK. There's no way you could do that with that turtle without it. No way. Do you have one of your UV printers here too?
We didn't bring the UV at this show because we're pushing out the big machines.
Don't distract those users, those customers.
I mean, there's a purpose for this show, and it's a lot of the customers that are looking to retool their business. I actually go from having multiple machines to getting bigger machines to really knock down, labor costs and to get more production out the door. So
again, open up that color range. Absolutely.
I've got a question though. So I've got the CobraFlex forehead, and it's got the extra ink tanks.
Yeah.
And initially we thought we would just do CMYK for speed.
Yep.
How much speed am I going to sacrifice if I convert it over to the expanded color?
About half. If it's a four-header, you're going about half.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to cut it down. That's why, like on that machine there, on the King Cobra, we're going into a 6-head, so you still get that.
You still have the speed, but then you have the expanded colors.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And what's the 6-head machine running right now in terms of price?
Right now for the show, it's just under $54,000.
Okay.
And how many square feet an hour are we approximately printing here?
On this one here, being that this one has got the color expanders, it's about half, but generally on a four-head, you get about 244 12x12s an hour.
I thought my printer was fast at 100 square feet an hour.
Brady's been a big part, too, with a lot of customers that we're getting a lot of these Venoms in, and he's seeing how it's changing these customers' businesses, too, quite a bit.
It's just really streamlining their processes. They're saving space. They're saving labor. They're getting a massive amount of production without having to add 40, 45 machines to their operation. So it's been a big help to them moving forward. I think as well, when you move to those bigger machines, you start to attack some of the screen print market, right? The pricing and the costing is starting to really make sense. You're not going to have to offer minimums to customers anymore. It's full color. Just a lot of advantages on the DTF side.
Absolutely. Everyone's DTF.
We've been really happy with our uptime as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're printing from the time we open the shop to the time we close the shop all day, every day.
Oh, we were there 2 days ago, and he was pumping them out all day.
Most people don't realize that with the inks and the quality and the print heads and stuff like that the uptime in the morning is super important. Some customers in the past were spending 2 hours just to get their machines kind of up and going. Yeah. Obviously, having the environment right, whether it's a stealth or you just have your room environment right. It's one of the most important things you need to think about.
Chris, where can somebody go to learn more about these machines?
You can go online to CobraFlex.com, or you can go to one of our dealers, Newcoats.
DecoNetwork.com is going to have a lot of information on there. The CobraFlex website is going to have a lot of information, especially on troubleshooting, what to do if you do have problems. There's a lot of expertise and a lot of experience on both sides there.
Well, probably the biggest thing that I've seen as an advantage with CobraFlex is definitely the support.
Yeah.
There's with any machine you get, you're going to have little kinks and problems, you know, little hiccups here and there. And every single time we just say, hey, rent a sport ticket, we get on the phone with somebody, and I'd say 9 times out of 10 it's something easy, and we're able to get it up and going right away. And that rare time that it is something mechanical and we have to have a part, overnight it, get us back up and going, and it's been a great experience. It really has.
Definitely. Support's key.
Again, you got to come to these types of shows to really get the full, you know, spectrum, ironically, of all the equipment on the market and see, you know, what is available. But when you run into something like this where those are some really good colors popping,
Really good.
you know, you just don't see it at every show. DTF is such a new decoration process, so every couple months you go to a show, you see the new stuff. And for those who don't know, there's a really great show right in their backyard next year. I think it's April 1 and 2 is the DTF Expo. It'll be, what, second or third year? Second year. Looks really cool. We're going to be there. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys find this walkthrough helpful, and look out for our other couple, because Printing United is way too big to make just one of these. So, hey, thanks, Brady.
No, thank you guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Right on, guys.
And again,
Appreciate you. Yeah.
The one and only ZZ Top Brandon Mills.